And more of the same to come as the crowds line the route for Stage 3 through the East Midlands. The finish is alongside the River Trent in Nottingham, but we begin in Bakewell, the unofficial capital of the Peak District. You might think Bakewell is famous for its tarts, but in fact, the original recipe was a pudding. A Bakewell pudding, please. Thank you very much. And this is it. It was invented in 1859 when a local baker thought he'd made a mistake and came up with this. There's the original recipe on the wall, but in fact there is a secret ingredient that goes into every Bakewell pudding. So remember, when you come to Bakewell, it's a pudding you're asking for, not a tart. So with that little bit of local trivia, let's get the third stage underway.
Well, the flag is dropped there by the Sports Minister, Richard Cabourn, for Stage 3. Just a couple of bumps near the end on this leg. So I'm expecting a big bunch sprint at the end. And of course, it's going to be an interesting day for the team of Chocolat Jacques as they defend their yellow jersey. And that is at the moment on the shoulders of Mauricio Ardilla. There he is, the Colombian. The team will be working well to keep him in the yellow jersey today. He will have studied the map, of course, and there's no big climbs. And at the moment, he looks pretty calm and cool.
Well, I'm sure they'll have some work to do today, Hugh. These roads, no big hills in there, but undulating enough to make your legs sore.
They will have been discussing their tactics as we go past Chatsworth House.
On this tour, a team consists of 6 riders, so the yellow jersey worn by Mauricio Ardilla here will be able to sit and have 5 of his teammates working for him. He will sit in their slipstream and hopefully get a free ride to the finish. If he needs water or food from the team car, one of his teammates will act as a domestique, drop back and bring that forward to him. Likewise, if there's an attack on the yellow jersey by a rider who's challenging on the general classification, goes off down the road, it's up to the Chocolat Jacques team to chase down that breakaway. This is the essence of cycling. It's all about teamwork and ensuring that Ardilla finishes the stage in yellow.
Glorious aerial shot of Chatsworth House. Of course, the field haven't got any time to be admiring it because they've got a job to do, and already we have a little break developing. 4 riders going clear. That's the Irish rider, Philip Danon. And also in this group, we've got Benjamin Novell from US Postal, Viktor Rapinski, the rider from Belarus, and Navigators. And the other member of this squad is Andrei Kashishkin, who rides on the Credit Agricole team.
Well, this breakaway dangerous for 2 reasons. Danon is only 20 seconds behind on GC, I believe. So Chocolat Jacques cannot let this move go away with him in it. And of course, there are 4 riders, and that's a dangerous size for the Chocolat Jacques team because it is nearly half, or indeed over half the size of the team they have to chase them down.
Already you can see that they are concerned because they've all come to the front team time trial style in perfect linear formation, and they will keep the tempo as high as possible. The other member of that quartet is Kashishkin, the 24-year-old on the Credit Agricole team. He's another danger man because he only trails the yellow jersey by 20 seconds, but he's got a mechanical problem, and now he's in no man's land.
Well, there's no chance of him regaining that front group, and that is definitely played into the hands of the Chocolat Jacques team. Their job has just become 25% easier.
There's the advantage, but of course all the riders will be wired for sound, and the team managers will know exactly what is going on ahead, and if it doesn't suit them, they will soon send messages up to neutralise the group and get the field back together. What does their job exactly entail?
My job entails looking after the team when we're on the road. For example, here at the Tour of Britain, I'm in control of everyone, the riders and the personnel, making sure everything runs smoothly, you know, making sure that we've got the riders in good shape, looking after the logistics of the race, and obviously driving the team car behind the race on all the stages. Telling the riders what lays ahead over the radio that we have, contact with them. You know, I have all the profiles here, the course in the car, to just keep them informed of what's happening in the race, you know, and do the race tactics. Know what we're doing after the race, how far it is to the hotel, just in control of things on the road.
Well, it's Novell at the front from US Postal, Rapinski second, and Degnan, who is the race leader on the road, and if he can profit from the sprint, he'll add a few more seconds as well.
Well, that's the pulse of the yellow jersey that we could see there, Hugh, and clearly his team is doing their job because he's having a fairly easy day.
Just exactly what he wants. No pressure for him. Now then, they're beginning to get ready for the next sprint. And Degnan at the back in that familiar sort of style, just out of the saddle, going for it. But no, Rapinski of the Navigators team has gone to the front. And it would appear that the little arrangement that they seem to have made earlier on, where Degnan was going to be first, has been completely ignored. And Rapinski of the Navigators team is over the line first for the 3 seconds. Degnan of Ireland gets the 2.
Well, it is, as they say, a free world, and those small time bonuses may come in very, very handy towards the end of this race.
3 seconds for Rapinski, 2 for Degnan, and the 1 going to Novell. Well, that will help Degnan move up the GC chart slightly, but it would appear that the warning that he received has been taken on board, and he's falling back here to the main field.
Well, he's obviously realised that he was on a hide into nothing there. Very frustrating position, having to work so hard to establish a breakaway and then realising that it just isn't going to happen. He's just too dangerous for them to give him any kind of a lead at all.
So still the leaders are ahead. That is Rapinski and Novell, and the lead is 8 minutes and 5 seconds. This will not affect the overall. In fact, this is playing perfectly into the hands of the yellow jersey and his team.
Well, exactly, Hugh. This is just what they wanted to happen, because it means that the race is kept at a fairly high speed. Everybody is just about comfortable, but the speed is too high for people to make lots of attacks.
Well, that's the National Space Centre in Leicester as the riders now come up to the next sprint, and the gap, well, it's been close. 6 minutes and 16 seconds. The question is now, can these two stay out in front and contest the top positions in Nottingham?
Well, I think their fate is very much in the hands of the peloton. The finish is certainly coming closer. They've only got somewhere in the region of 50 kilometres to go now. It is possible, but it very much depends on whether the peloton wants to let that happen, or perhaps other teams will assist Chocolat Jacques because they want the stage finish.
Well, that shot we saw of the field then, it was beginning to stretch out, and that's always a sign that the pressure is being applied at the front of the main field. So this is the final climb of the day, Upper Broughton, third category affair. So it's only a blip really, but it looks very much to me as though Rapinski of the Navigators team, who's a former junior world champion for the points discipline, is finding it tough, and he can't stay in the wheel of Novell of US Postal.
Looks like somebody that is completely out of energy. He's not even trying to stay there. He's just riding on empty.
So there it is, down to 1 minute and 32 seconds. So the ingredients here are becoming spicy, because it's looking very much as though we are going to be treated to a mass sprint finish along the side of the River Trent in Nottingham. But Novell continues to persist at the front.
Well, he's under 10 kilometres to go now. He's had his one shot for the day. There's nothing left for him. He really has got to give it everything he's got and just see whether it's enough to hang on. Either way, I think it's going to be very close.
He picks up the 4 points at the top of the climb there in Upper Broughton. He's not a challenger for the King of the Mountain, so that will not make any effect at all to Ben Day, who is wearing the polka dot jersey as the leader of that classification. And now we're looking at Nottingham, and this of course is where the riders have been aiming for ever since they left Bakewell almost 4 hours ago, and now being closed up very, very rapidly now. Here come the field.
Well, less than 5 kilometres to go now, 6 minutes of racing, and it just wasn't to be. Such a long, hard day, but when you go for the long shots, you take long days out in the saddle, then this can happen.
Now it's just a matter of who is going to position himself best for the sprint. There is the Trent Bridge. You can see the cricket ground on the right and the football stadiums just ahead on the left. 2 kilometres to go. Credit Agricole coming through to the front, obviously looking after the interests of their sprinter Julian Dean.
Well, Julian Dean most of the year works for Tour Ushoft. Indeed he did through the Tour de France to great effect. They got some stage wins there, but now it's his chance for a win, and obviously they've decided that it's a good possibility today and worth spending some men to make sure he's in the right position.
So the New Zealander Julian Dean, the hot sprinter in the Credit Agricole team, he's up there in the top 3 at the moment. Good positioning for him. Last time he came to this country, when we had a tour 5 years ago, he won 2 stages back-to-back.
Some very, very twisty finishes, and I think most of the sprinters have now realised that although they'd normally be a little bit further back, they need to be right up the front when they've hit those final corners.
You can see the white jersey as well of the national champion, Roger Hammond, a little bit further back. Hammond with good sprinting legs as well. Finished 7th in the recent road race in Athens. That'd be a fantastic story if Hammond could win. 1 kilometre to go as the field once again come together. It's anybody's this. Don't discount the team of Quick Step de Vitamon either, because they've got Zanini and Tom Bonan. Now this will lead them to the sharp left-hander and the finish, and it looks like one of the Irish riders trying to go clear here. Trying to make an early break for it, but with the field travelling at that kind of speed, he's soon going to get swept up. Here we come into the finish now. Looks like Bonan's in the hunt here. Can't see Zanini, but also up there I caught a glimpse of Grillo from Paneria and Dean. Right, closing stages, 200 metres to go. Now Bonan of Belgium and the Quick Step de Vitamon really beginning to wind this up on the line. Has he got the power to hold them off on the line, lunging for it? Yes, Bonan takes it. Terrific sprint there ahead of Grillo of Paneria, and I think Julian Dean of Credit Agricole just nicked 3rd spot. Hammond wasn't too far back, so a good bit of riding by Roger Hammond there as well, the national champion. It'll be interesting to see the exact position where he finished. Bonan is the man that takes the stage.
Tom Boonen gives Quick Step de Vitamon their 2nd stage win of the Tour. The average speed for the day, 42.5 kilometres an hour. Julian Dean took 3rd place, and that was good enough to make him the new leader in the Halfords Green Jersey competition. British riders Hammond and Hunt pushed Boonen all the way to the line.
It was pretty hard. The final last kilometer was very dangerous, and it was hard to choose a straight line. And I lost Stefano's Zanini's wheel, the last 800 meters at the first roundabout. And then at the hard corner to the left, it was like 7 or 8 positions, so it was pretty far back. But then I still had the power to move up, and then in the last chicane, I took in 2nd position and I started sprinting, but it was still 250 meters, still a far way to go. And it wasn't my best sprint, I think, but it was one of the hardest.
Well, just when we thought the stage was over, the commissaires have noticed a split in the main group. Now, Hugh, that's had an effect on the race leader.
Absolutely, yes, they have. I'd like to take a look at that again and try and explain it. Well, here's Tom Boonen crossing the line. Now, everyone in that group gets the same time across the line as the leader. Here at the back of this group is Eric Leblacher, who was 3rd overall at the start of this stage, 5 seconds off the race lead. Now, what the judges have seen is this split in the field. Under the rules of the race, if there's a gap in the field of more than a second, the riders in the 2nd group get a separate time. And as they come to the line, you can see this makes a big difference. Fredman Leblacher has finished 5 seconds ahead of the Colombian Mauricio Ardila, which means they are joint leaders equal on time.
And there is the official confirmation of what the judges saw. Maurizio Ardila finished 28th, and along with Noonans and Salvadelli, lose 5 seconds on the front group. A mistake at the end of a long day, but fortunately for Ardila and his team, he holds on to the yellow jersey on the countback system. It can't get any closer than that. Ardila and Leblacher on the same time, and only 9 seconds between 1st and 7th. Roger Hammond is 11th, 15 seconds down, but all these riders are within 20 seconds and well placed to launch a challenge given the opportunity.